is falling on the rooftops tonight. Old Paris glows in amber light. A lonely cafe still remains, hidden softly beneath the rain. Your silhouette beside the window frame still makes this city feel the same. The vinyl plays our old refrain, while memories dance through smoke again. And every quiet street I cross still reminds me of what we lost. Oh mon amour, the night moves slow through empty streets and afterglow. Inside this cafe made of dreams, nothing is ever what it seems. The accordion cries so low, like love we lost so long ago. Oh mon amour, my heart remains in the last café of Montmartre. Faded roses sleeping on the bar, old lovers drifting from afar. The piano whispers soft and blue, every melody belongs to you. Underneath the golden light, Paris keeps your ghost alive. And every rainy song I hear still pulls your memory near. Oh, mon amour, the dawn will rise above these lonely Paris skies. But every corner, every flame still softly calls your name. The city fades in silver gray, yet part of me will always stay. Oh mon amour, my soul remains in the last café of Montmartre. Quiet in the night as candles slowly lose their light. But somewhere deep inside my heart, Paris never let us part. You arrive late again tonight, apologizing while fixing your hair. Your cheeks were cold from the winter wind, and your hands were shaking a little. The cafe was almost empty, only an old couple near the back, and a man asleep beside the counter while soft jazz played from broken speakers. You looked exhausted, like someone caring too much for too long. So I asked if you were okay, and you smiled the way people do when the answer is probably no. midnight at Café Lumière, rain sliding slowly down the windows. You're stirring sugar into cold coffee like you were trying to calm your thoughts. No movie romance, no dramatic lines, just two people sharing silence in a city that never really sleeps. You talked about your younger brother, how he finally moved away last spring, and how your mother keeps calling every Sunday, pretending everything still feels the same. I listened while street lights flickered outside, cars passing through puddles on the road. Sometimes life changes so quietly, you don't notice until the room feels different. The waitress stacked chairs one by one. The clock moved closer to 1 a.m. But neither of us wanted to leave yet. midnight at something small, and for a second the sadness disappeared. No promises about tomorrow, no pretending we had answers. Just one warm table in Paris, keeping the loneliness away a while. When we finally stepped outside, the rain had almost stopped. You held my arm crossing the street, and the city felt strangely gentle again. The station clock was almost midnight. He said we should have left an hour ago, but we stayed too long inside that little bar, talking about people we used to know. Your coat still smelled like rain and cigarettes. Mine smelled like cheap coffee and smoke. The city looked tired through the taxi windows, like it had heard too many broken jokes. You leaned your head against the glass and asked me quietly, do you ever get scared of ending up alone? We missed the last train home tonight, so we kept walking through the empty streets, sharing silence underneath the orange lights, while Paris disappeared beneath our feet. No music playing, no perfect scene, just cold hands searching for a little heat. And somehow that felt more honest than every love song we had ever heard. A bakery open near the corner, the smell of warm bread filled the air. You smiled for the first time that evening, and suddenly the night felt lighter there. We talked about leaving this city someday, maybe somewhere closer to the sea. But deep inside we both already knew neither of us would really leave. The rain started falling again, soft enough that nobody bothered to run. We missed the last train home tonight, and maybe that was for the best, because for a few quiet hours the world finally stopped rushing us. No promises, no dramatic goodbye, just your fingers tangled into mine, while morning slowly reached the sky above the sleeping Paris streets. When the first metro finally arrived, you kissed my cheek before the doors closed, and all I could think was, I hope life gives us another night like this. You were already sitting there when I arrived, 2 seats by the window, your coat hanging loosely on the chair beside you, steam rising slowly from your coffee cup. Outside, People hurried through the rain, taxis splashed water onto the sidewalks, and somewhere down the street an accordion played for passing strangers. You asked me how my week had been. I said, long. You nodded like you understood immediately. 2 seats by the window on another rainy night in Paris, talking quietly while the cafe lights flickered, like the world outside could wait a while. No perfect romance, no big declarations, just your tired smile across the table, making the evening feel a little softer. You told me your landlord raised the rent again, and how you'd been thinking about moving, maybe somewhere smaller, maybe somewhere quieter. I joked that everyone in this city dreams about leaving eventually. You laughed softly and said, yet somehow nobody really does. The waitress brought us fresh coffee without needing to ask, like she already knew we'd probably stay until closing time again. 2 seats by the window, rain rolling gently down the glass, the piano playing somewhere in the background, while midnight slowly filled the room. No dramatic ending, no promises forever, just 2 lonely people in a warm cafe, trying not to feel so alone tonight. When the cafe finally closed, we stood quietly beneath one umbrella, watching reflections dance across the street. Neither of us ready to say goodbye yet. The grocery store was closing early. You carried flowers wrapped in brown paper. We walked slowly near the river, talking about nothing important at all. You said your apartment felt too quiet lately. I joked that mine was worse. You laughed a little, then pulled your coat tighter against the wind. The sky turned gray above the bridges, and boats moved softly through the water. Paris looked beautiful that evening, but tired too, just like us. Sunday evening near the Seine, cold hands hidden in jacket pockets, street lamps glowing on the wet pavement, while old songs drifted from nearby cafes. No perfect words, no grand confessions, just 2 people walking side by side, trying to make another week feel lighter. We stopped at a small cafe on the corner. The waiter recognized you immediately. You ordered tea, I asked for coffee, and rain began tapping softly on the windows. You told me work had been exhausting, too many faces, too many conversations. I nodded because honestly, I felt exactly the same. Sometimes happiness is smaller than people expect. Sometimes it's only this: warm drinks, quiet company, and nowhere else to be. Sunday evening near the Seine, the city slowly disappearing into rain. You rested your head against my shoulder, like you were finally able to breathe. No promises about forever, no pretending life was perfect. Just one honest night in Paris that neither of us wanted to end. When we finally left the cafe, the streets were almost empty. You smiled and asked, same place next Sunday, and somehow that felt enough. The waiter brought your coffee first, just like he always used to do. You smiled and fixed your little scarf, while rain kept falling over Rue Lamarck. You talked about your tiring week and how the metro made you late again. I laughed and said Paris never changes. You rolled your eyes and held my hand. No violins, no grand romance, just two tired people trying to breathe for a moment. And maybe love looks like this: warm coffee on a rainy evening, your wet hair resting on my shoulder, while old songs play inside the cafe. No fancy words, no perfect ending, just you and me, forgetting the world for a while. You stole my cigarettes again, even though you said you wanted to quit. The window fog slowly covered the city as strangers hurried through the cold. You told me you missed your mother back in the south near the ocean side. I didn't know what I should answer, so I simply stayed there quietly. Sometimes Paris feels too heavy, too loud, too lonely, but nights like this make it softer somehow. And maybe love sounds like this: coffee cups and quiet conversations, rain tapping softly on the windows while your fingers search for mine. No movie scenes, no poetry, just two lonely hearts trying a little less to feel alone. The cafe closed around midnight. We walked home underneath one umbrella. You laughed because my shoes were soaked, and for a moment life felt simple again. The rain keeps falling on these old cafe windows, like forgotten words we never got to say. Paris feels colder without your shadow. dancing softly through the lights of yesterday. A lonely saxophone cries in the distance, while strangers disappear beneath umbrellas. Your perfume still lives inside my silence, like a fragile dream I cannot tell of. Every street remembers your name tonight. Every candle burns with fading light. Oh, mon amour, the city still sings through rainy nights and broken wings. Inside this little cafe glow, I search for someone I used to know. The moonlight falls on empty chairs and lonely music fills the air. Oh, mon amour, my heart remains writing rainy letters from Paris. Old photographs and unfinished conversations, sleeping quietly beside my glass of wine. This beautiful city hides 1,000 heartbreaks, yet somehow yours still feels like mine. Accorded in whispers through the smoke, like promises we never spoke. And every melody I hear still brings your memory near. Mon amour, the night moves slow along the Seine where cold winds blow. Every chanson sounds the same since Paris lost your gentle flame. The morning fades in silver blue, but every road still leads to you. Oh, mon amour, my soul remains writing rainy letters from Paris. Lights grow dim, but your ghost still dances within, while rain keeps falling endlessly across this old Parisian dream. Midnight rained upon the avenue, silver reflections shining through. The cafe lights still softly glow, like memories that never go. Your laughter lingers in the smoky air, like old jazz floating everywhere. A lonely violin starts to cry beneath the pale Parisian sky. And every shadow in this town still turns my heart upside down. Oh, mon amour, where are you now? Beyond the moonlit boulevard, I hear your voice in every song, like you were here all along. The city sleeps beneath the rain, but I still whisper your name. Oh, mon amour, my soul remains in moonlight on Saint-Germain. Empty coffee cups and fading light, quiet strangers passing through the night. The old accordion gently plays for lovers lost in yesterday. Candles flicker gold and blue, every melody leads to you, and every corner of this place still remembers your embrace. Oh, mon amour, the dawn appears like silent poetry and tears. The rain keeps falling soft and slow along the streets we used to know. Though time may wash our dreams away, my heart still walks these roads each day. Oh, mon amour, love still remains in moonlight on Saint-Germain. My heart, and every rainy night begins with your ghost beneath the wind.